Hey guys, and welcome to the Command Tower, where you make EDH deck decks. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about my favorite card and why I think you should play it. So my favorite card is Moonring Mirror. It's a 5-mana artifact. It says whenever you draw a card, remove the top card of your library from the game face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, you remove your hand from the game face down. If you do, put into your hand all other cards you own removed from the game with Moonring Mirror. So basically, you're drawing a card, you're removing a card from the game, face down, and then, as being your upkeep, you can switch your hand with exiled cards. So it's basically giving you a second hand that you can switch with. Now the best part about this card is that it's an artifact. Other cards do this effect, that give you extra cards whenever you draw, but those are mostly in blue, and since it's an artifact, it can go in any deck, which is really useful. And also, the cards that are in blue let you draw extra cards, leaving you with a really big hand size. And you'll have to discard at the end of your turn. Moonring Mirror just prevents that, because you'll have an extra hand and you won't have to discard because you probably won't go over your max hand size. Also, if someone's playing a discard deck, they might make you discard your hand, but you'll still have cards exiled with Moonring Mirror. Now this card's only in 85 decks, and it's only 30 cents. So, it's fairly cheap, and I think you could put it in any of your decks. So, let's move on to some cards that do similar things, but personally, I think Moonring Mirror is better. It's Fury's Ageless Insight. If you draw a card, except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. It is a 4-mana legendary enchantment. Now, this enchantment's pretty good. It's in 4,059 decks, and it's $1.42, so it's pretty popular. But it doesn't count the first card you draw on each of your draw steps, and Moonring Mirror does. And also, it's a legendary enchantment. So, if you really wanted to, you couldn't copy Fury's Ageless Insight, but you could copy Moonring Mirror. Thought Reflection is in 2,115 decks, and it's 47 cents, so it's cheaper. And it's a 7-mana enchantment. It says if you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. Well, this one's pretty good, but the high mana cost is it's not too good. For 7 mana, you're gonna get it out a little late in the game, and it's just not as good as Moonring Mirror. In Alhammar's Archive, I would say it's probably better than Moonring Mirror. It's a 5-mana legendary artifact. It says if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. And if you would draw a card except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. But I have several problems with this card. It's very expensive at $12.48, and I don't have that much money. I would not pay that much for a card when Moonring Mirror does a similar thing. Also, it's a legendary artifact, so once again, you couldn't make a copy of it. And then there's also the life gain effect. But most people don't even use this for the life gain effect, so they really just care about the card draw. And then also, the card draw doesn't even count for the first card you draw on your turn, so just Moonring Mirror is just an overall better card. Now let's look at some decks that Moonring Mirror could be good in. Now Moonring Mirror could be good in about any blue deck, because blue decks have lots of card draw. But the best part about Moonring Mirror is it's an artifact, so it can go in any deck. So let's look at some non-blue decks that it could go in. Jewel Rail says, whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. So, Moonring Mirrors are also just really good because you're going to be drawing a lot of cards. But the best part about this card is you pay 6 until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, or X number of cards in your hand. So, with Moonring Mirror out, you'll keep exiling cards. Let's say you had like 15 cards in exile or something crazy. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you switch hands, so your hand goes to exile and exile goes to your hand. Then you have 15 cards in hand. Then you can use her ability, and creatures you control are going to be like 15/15s. It's crazy. Villas, flying, if you pay a black and pay 2 life, target creature gets -1 until end of turn. And whenever you lose life, you draw that many cards. So already, Moonring Mirror is just really great because you're going to draw a ton of cards, and you won't have to lose more life to get more cards. Reki, the History of Kamigawa, Whenever you play a legendary spell, draw a card. I think that's just self-explanatory. Corvold, Faker's King. Flying. When he enters battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on him and draw a card. Corvold is going to draw you a ton of cards. And with Moonring Mirror out, you'll get twice as many cards. Vanguard the Diplomat. Lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. Once again, just a lot of card draw on this creature. And in white, they don't have a lot of card draw, so Moonring Mirror will make sure you get more cards. And then Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. Vigilance Menace. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life. An equipment you control have equipped Knight for 0. Just in this deck, you're just going to draw a bunch of cards off attacking, and you'll get more cards with Moonring Mirror. Now, all of this is my opinion, so it may not be right, but personally I really love this card. So, consider using it. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day.